Hi.
We are.
Well, of course everybody wants to be on the high-flying disc, and of course that's the most attractive place to be. And
I'm glad you agree.
and so you taught me to carry a parachute or a hang glider when falling out of a plane about 8 or 9 years ago. And this year I had a parachute without the the cord didn't pull, and it's all related to an elder care situation with my mother and complicated stepfather stuff. And
All right, well, let's not go too far down that path.
I won't.
You did.
Okay, I did. Yeah, I did, because I checked on her during the break. And so she's here, and I'm in Houston, and so I'm up there doing my deal, and
From time to time.
Okay. Yes, from time to time, and do you ever watch The Dog Whisperer? Cesar Millan, the guy that, you know. I watched a show, he fascinates me because if there's anybody that reads and translates vibration, I mean, the way he is with those animals is amazing. And so I watched a thing the other night, and he talked about...
The amazing thing is that how well the dogs have trained him.
Okay.
Because they know what alignment is. They get on their high-flying disc, and he's had to get there in order to understand what they want or what they mean.
Oh. Okay. So my challenge is how to stay on my high-flying disc and stay...
You see, if it's a challenge, there's no remedy. Because if it feels like a challenge, then you're starting with a premise that has a momentum that doesn't allow it. Isn't that? I want to be up here, but I'm down here, and the challenge is getting from here to there. But in the realization that there's a challenge, where is the dominant vibration? So what can you do to loosen your awareness of where you are? Because when you loosen your awareness, you'll float to the high-flying disc. There's no challenge. You'll float up. You will return there. So what can you do?
Not call my mom down on the low-flying disc.
What can you do to disassociate with that? And the best thing is to start with general things. But when you're using words or feeling experience like challenge and effort, those are really good indicators that you're trying to apply action for something that energy would serve you way better about, and it's really one or the other, because you almost can't, you just can't find enough challenging, efforting action to get up there. It defies it. So you have to find a way of disengaging from it, or of diffusing it. And the sorts of things, when you find yourself not thinking about her, this is the thing that's really interesting. When you find yourself not thinking about it, then you feel guilty because you feel this responsibility. Well, your mother sort of trained you there. Most mothers train you there. Don't fly high, I'm down here. Get down here and take care of me. It's sort of, I need you to do these things that I need you to do so that I will feel better. Well, that's what we've been talking about all forever, is that you have to decide where your guidance that is beneficial to you and to her is really coming from, and then you have to meet it. And so we know it's difficult, because when there's enough momentum going already, and we don't want you to just turn your back. We don't want you not to call. We don't want you not to check in. We don't want you not to be aware of her. But we want you to be aware of her on the step 4, not on the step 1, 2, or 3. We want you to be on the high-flying disc and then. So what you want to say to yourself is, I'm going to get some momentum revved up, and you know how to do it. And then if the inspiration comes, and it does often, if the inspiration to call somebody when you're up there comes, then do it. But never Esther has had some experiences recently where she will make a phone call, or she will write a note, or she will engage in some way in some experience with another person, and it doesn't turn out so good. And then after the fact, she'll say to herself, from what disc was I on when I got that impulse? What, was I trying to save somebody? Was I trying to fix something that was broken? Or was I wanting to meet them on that level? Well, the thing about having someone who is diminished in their physicality, and it's hard for you to imagine them meeting you on that level.
Right.
And sometimes you can't even go far back in your history, in your historical relationship with them to ever find a time that they met you. So you almost have to just think of other things. So, or go really general. So we're going to go really general with you since it seems to be a sort of theme that we've got going here today. We're going to go really general with you on the specific subject of what to do when you want to be on a high-flying disc and you're intertwining with people that you care about who, for whatever reason, are not on the high-flying disc. So the most general statement that you can make is, I know that she wants to feel better. And I certainly want to too. And I am not going to solve this in the way that most humans would think that it should be solved. So I'm just going to let that go. I take satisfaction and even comfort in realizing that there is a trajectory that is right on track. And that it's like Esther remembers sitting out on the porch with Jerry. And they had put up a bird bath in the front yard. And they realized that while the bird bath was lovely because it gave the birds a place to bath, it also gave the cats a place to hunt. And so right away they realized the error of their ways, because here came the bird to take a bath and here came the cat for lunch. And so Esther remembers sitting there on the other side of a pretty significant railing. And the bird flew down into the bird bath, and the cat jumped up and grabbed the bird. And Esther jumped over the railing and took the bird out of the cat's mouth and said, go have lunch somewhere else. Jerry couldn't believe it. He said, I knew that the bird could fly, and I wasn't surprised that the cat could fly, but I didn't know you could fly. But Esther was determined to get things in the right order, and that cat was not going to eat that bird for lunch. 5 minutes later, that cat had that bird. And Esther had several experiences of trying to get in the middle of things like that. And finally she came to the realization that there's a cycle, and it's a natural cycle, and I'm the one who's out of alignment in this cycle. And that's what we want to say to so many of you. You, in your clinging to life, in your worrying about death, you are the ones who are out of sync in this cycle. And so you can say to yourself things like, everything's on track and all really is well here, and there's nothing really out of alignment, and I know that we are all eternal beings, and I'm looking forward to my own transition, and I'm eager about my mother's transition, and I know that alignment is there, and I know that she's reaching for it, and I know that she will like it when she finds it, so that angst is not within you. Then two things will happen. And in either case, one of two things will happen, maybe both of them, but in any case, you're going to like all of it. As you find alignment with that eternal nature and really get it, it'll serve you now and it'll serve you later. I mean, there's just nothing like accepting the vibrational trajectory that all of us are upon. So as you get there and you feel the ease of it, your mother or whoever it is, if they are in the vibrational vicinity, will join you there. They'll join you so that you'll begin to have some life-giving, delicious conversations even. So one of two things is happening. Either she's not vibrationally where you are, which means she won't be reaching out to you. You won't be feeling her. You won't be feeling like you need to be there. You know, do you know that you're all telepathic? And so if you're on a lower flying disc, let's call it anxiety or concern, and somebody else is too, you're having a lot of telepathic moments with them. They're calling you all the time in their minds. You're feeling that urge to call them, you see. But if you're on the high flying disc and they're on that disc of concern, even though they might be reaching out to you, you're not receiving the reception, and so it's not nagging at you all the time. Does that make sense to you? Now, that may make you feel a little insensitive, like, no, I need to be in the vicinity. It's like, got to always have my phone with me in case somebody who needs me calls me. Somebody woke Esther up really early the other morning, and she thought, well, I don't want to turn my phone off in case someone needs me. And then she thought, what? What? That's not on the high-flying disc. So there are things like that. We want you to realize that nobody's going to reach you if you're on different vibrational wavelengths. So let's say you're flying high and she isn't. She might be reaching out a little bit, but you're not hearing it, and you're not neglecting her. You won't feel that nagging. And if you are on the high-flying disc and you do get the impulse, then that means she joined you there and it's a good time to call or it's a good time to go. Does that make sense to you? If you will accept your vibrational nature and begin practicing it from this place of leverage that we are selling to you here today, if you'll practice it from that place of alignment, you're going to discover ease and grace in all relationships, no matter where anyone else is, you see. The thing that comes to Esther's mind as she is playing with grandchildren or with employees or with anyone is something will happen that will feel off to her, and she will know this is not a good teaching moment, because when I'm off my disc, then anything I say is just going to compound the very thing that I don't want to pour gasoline on this fire. So you want to just make sure of where you are and then reach out. Get on the high-flying disc and then. And otherwise, don't reach out. And if you're reaching out and when you get there you don't like what you found, you weren't on the high-flying disc when you reached out. So next time, don't do that again. You'll recognize those symptoms and those signals and those signs, won't you? In other words, one of the wonderful things about things playing out for you is that you can feel how they felt before they played out. Don't you ever say, oh, I saw that coming. I saw that coming and I went anyway. And we say, in time, you'll see it coming maybe, but you'll be wise enough to pull back, let it be more general, regain your balance, so that what you see coming is what you want to see coming. Helpful?
Very.